Melvin Gordon sits down for an interview on Instagram and didn't hold back his feelings about playing in front of LA Charger fans during his time there.
Oh man, Charger fans, they're not gonna like that.
La Liga officially sets its return date back to action following the coronavirus pandemic. Right now on Full Sail Live. Hi everyone, welcome into Full Sail Live. I'm Yaniv Berkovitz. Melvin Gordon sat down for an interview on Instagram and discussed what it would be like for the NFL to return with no fans in attendance. Gordon, now a member of the Denver Broncos, specifically addressed what it was like playing as a member of the LA Chargers in front of the local fans.
How would it feel if you go into these games and there's no fans in the stadium? I know there's been a lot of talk about there being fanless games. Like, could you imagine playing in a football game with no fans or there being crowd noise pumped into the stadium?
Bro, we didn't have fans anyway.
Oh man, Charger fans, they're not gonna like that. Okay.
Yeah, we didn't have many Charger fans. I'm to be honest, we didn't have many Charger fans at the game. You know, much loyalty, love, but we ain't had many, so I'm not missing anything.
Some brutal honesty there from the Chargers' former starting running back. On to some soccer news. La Liga has officially been given the all-clear to take the field again starting the second week of June, and specifically on June 11th. This was announced by the Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez back on Saturday. La Liga was suspended on March 12th after Real Madrid went into quarantine on the same day following the positive test for coronavirus of one of the sporting club's basketball players. Barcelona at the moment has a slender 2-point lead over the arch-rival Real Madrid with 11 rounds of fixtures remaining and reacted to the news with a tweet of their star player Lionel Messi. With time limited and with top sides also having Champions League and Europa League commitments, it will mean teams playing both midweek and at weekends. All the matches will be behind closed doors for the time being, and players will also undergo tests for coronavirus the day before games and will even have their temperatures taken before being allowed to enter the stadiums. The match between Tiger Woods, Peyton Manning versus Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady took place over this past weekend, and it came down to the wire, finishing up at the 18th hole.
Run out.
All right, well, that ought to do it. Tiger Woods, Peyton Manning, the winners of Capital One's The Match.
Way to go, partner.
Hey,
Wow.
what a victory.
There was quite a lot of playful banter throughout the match, including this great little exchange between longtime rivals Tiger and Phil.
Ready to use one of my U.S. Open medals?
Do you have one?
Huh?
Do you have any? I got some silver ones. Do you have any of the gold ones? Either one will work.
I should have three on
All
my
right, if I
feet
can get it,
tomorrow.
let me have it over.
Damian Lillard sat down with Jalen and Jacoby and made his official NBA MVP selection for this season.
This year, MVP.
Plus, Forbes released its world's highest paid athletes list, and for the first time ever, a tennis player is atop it.
It's getting serious on this track, fam.
During his interview with Jalen and Jacoby, Damian Lillard was asked who his MVP selection would be for this 2019-2020 season between Giannis Antetokounmpo and LeBron James. This was his response.
I mean, if you said either one, I feel like it would, nobody would have a problem with it. But me personally, I think it's this season. I think is LeBron. They're number one team in the West. They've been consistent all year long, and for him to be at the age he's at with the amount of miles that he has on his body, how often he's talked about, the pressure they put on him and every little thing that he does.
The debate has been going on for quite some time now, especially since coronavirus pandemic has hit. The Bucks do lead the Eastern Conference with the number one seed, but so do LeBron's Lakers. The Bucks have the overall number one seed throughout the league, and Giannis leads in just about every statistical category compared to LeBron James. Giannis averages 29.6 points per game, good for third in the league, and he's third in the league in rebounds as well with 13.7, while LeBron James this year is leading the league in assists with 10.6. It'll be interesting to see when the league returns after the coronavirus pandemic at the end of July to see just who will separate themselves for the MVP race. As mentioned earlier, Forbes released their top-paid highest athletes in the world as of 2020, and Roger Federer topped that list for the first time in his career. He has an unmatched portfolio of lucrative endorsement deals, including his biggest prize, which is the Japanese apparel brand Uniqlo, which recently signed him to a 10-year deal worth $300 million back in 2018. He's won $130 million in prize money over his entire career, but that total was nothing compared to his off-court earnings from both appearances and endorsements. He's considered the greatest men's tennis player of all time, and he briefly returned to the number 1 ranking in 2018, becoming the oldest man by more than 3 years to do so. He has a couple of foundations established, including one that has raised more than $50 million and educated 1.5 million children in Africa since its launch. That does it here for Full Sail Live. I'm Yaniv Berkovitz. See you next week.